LuvFam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new on this channel, you're very much welcome. My name is Anat. I am so pleased to meet you. And if you're a returning subscriber, you guys, you know that you don't appreciate you always. Like, you guys mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you for coming back to all of my videos. I really appreciate you guys. So as you can see from the title, today we're going to be talking about the differences between Canada and Finland. So I've done a video about this before, which is the part 1 of this. This is the part 2. So after that video, people asked me much more questions. So in this video, I'm going to be answering those questions, like more like a detailed extension of the part 1. Good news, good news, good news, especially to all the Muslim parents watching my video. You guys, this is Nurtured Heart Islamic and Language Academy. This is the school that my children are attending to learn Arabic and to learn Quran studies. They teach your children about Islam. They can learn Quran from this school. They also have French, Arabic, Spanish language studies, and at the moment they are trying to also introduce Yoruba studies in one of the subjects they'll be teaching. The new academic section is starting in a week, so I'm introducing this school to you because I've tested and confirmed that this is something your children will learn from. So far, all the teachers that they have that my children have encountered, they are Nigerians based in Qatar, so you can be rest assured that your children will be learning the Quran and the Arabic from the real Arabic country. Also, everything is going to be online. It's virtual learning, so you don't have to worry about taking your kids to madrasa every weekend or every day. And trust me, it is very, very affordable. So the first thing I'm going to be addressing is the weather in Finland compared to the weather in Canada. So I'm going to be answering this question from Newfoundland point of view, and I'm going to be inserting some clips for you, some interesting clips for you. So I would say that Finland is colder, because people think that Newfoundland is one of the coldest provinces in Canada, and I still find it very hard to believe. To be honest, I would say Newfoundland has a lot of snow, like too much snow that Finland can't even dream of having yet. Like lots of snow in Newfoundland, but in the midst of those snow, it's still not as cold as it is in Finland. Okay. Another thing about Newfoundland weather is that it's very, very windy, because it's the Atlantic region, so it's very windy, and as a result of that, now imagine a cold winter combined with wind. So even if it is not very cold, but when you're moving, the wind is all over you, like the cold wind is all over you. It's not like a small window, like a serious wind. It's all over you during the winter. So another thing is that I would say Newfoundland is not well equipped for winter season compared to how Finland is well equipped. So in Newfoundland, when there is like huge snow, you will see that people are finding it difficult to move around. Like the snow plow is not coming on time. They are waiting for the snow to pile up before the snow plow will come and clear. But in Finland, as the snow is falling, you will see snow plow everywhere. They are cleaning it off immediately. They're not waiting for it to pile up. Another thing is that in Newfoundland, the walking pathway for pedestrians are the places where the snow plow dump the snows, which I don't like that idea. So which means, so for someone like me, when I first came, I had the pram. Amanda was still using the pram then, so it was not possible for me to use the pram unless I want to push the pram on the major road. And it's dangerous because of course that is the road for the car, it's the path for the car. Why should pedestrians walking on the road? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Even if you don't have a pram, it's hard for you to walk. You find a lot of pedestrians walking on the major road, which is dangerous. In Finland, all of the pathways will be cleared. So even if you have a stroller, it won't be a problem. Even if you don't have a stroller, you just want to walk to work, you want to walk to your bus stop, it's not a problem. Everything is well taken care of. which I would say Newfoundland is still lacking behind in that aspect. So another thing is that in Newfoundland, sometimes the wind can get really extreme, and as a result we have snowstorm. So snowstorm is a combination of snow with heavy wind. Whenever there is winter storm, schools are closed. Sometimes buses will stop working, all the transportation will stop working. They will advise people to stay at home. Of course, people that will have to go to work will have to go to work, like healthcare workers, and in those cases the company of the healthcare workers will go to the individual houses to go and pick them to work. They have bigger cars to help them to transport them to work. I'm going to insert a video of a snowstorm. I remember my husband got stuck because if you don't stay at home and your car is not very huge, even if your car is huge, like my area now, this our area, during the snowstorm, the snow plow doesn't come until the snowstorm has subsided, because at the end of the day, even the snow plow driver needs to be safe. So the snowstorm can be really windy, it comes with a lot of snow, so we do not have that kind of issue in Finland, no snowstorm or whatsoever. So another thing people want me to talk about is the education system in both countries. So in Finland, a child will start school at 7 years old, but at 6 the child is supposed to start preschool. Okay, so preschool is more or less like a daycare. It actually happens in the daycare, but it's not like the proper school. Like when it comes to, let's say, grade 1 and stuff, it's going to be from 7 years old. But the same year we left Finland, there was new introduction of preschool. So that preschool is going to happen at the age of 5 years. So preschool is also in the daycare, but it's kind of prepare the child for preschool, while the preschool prepared the child for the school. So I don't know how I'm going to answer this properly, but one thing is that you don't have to worry in Finland whether or not your child has reached school age. If you're thinking about will I have the chance to go to work, you know, so that when the child is at school you can go to work, that is not a problem in Finland. The daycare is not expensive, and to some people it's free. When it comes to daycare, Finland will calculate the family income to see whether or not you need to pay tuition. So for my family, I would say the highest we have ever paid for daycare for 3 children would be maybe €100 per month. And trust me, I would say most of the years we spent in Finland, we didn't pay anything for daycare most of the years. It was when we had 2 kids and our income was a bit higher, but the moment we had 3-4 kids, they started, you know, calculating the income in comparison to the number of family we have. They are thinking of how the income will be able to sustain the large family that we have, and as a result, the daycare fee was completely eradicated for us. Like, it was completely removed for us. So I would say you have to worry about daycare money in Finland, because even if you have to pay at all, you might end up paying maybe €20, €30 per month, you know, for a child. It won't be so much of a burden for you. And in Finland, education is free from the moment they start the school at 7 years till the university level, depending on the status of the child. But I believe if the child starts school from maybe grade 1 in Finland, by the time they get to university level, they're going to have it for free, because when you have a work permit in Finland, education is free for you. Even if you're a foreigner, you can decide to do your PhD, your masters, your 1 million PhD. It's going to be free as long as you have work permit, citizenship, or you have PR. So by the time your child will be grown to that level, so you can be rest assured that education for your child is going to be free. So that is for Finland. And for Canada, the official age to start school in Canada is 5 years old. When they are 5 years old, they're going to start kindergarten. But when they are 4 years old, they're going to start kinder start. So that kinder start is just 4 times in a year. It's just to familiarize the kids with the idea of going to school, and by the time they are 5, they can start the kindergarten. So right now Amira is in kindergarten, and when she goes to school with her brothers. The brothers are in grade 2 and grade 5, so they all go at the same time and come back at the same time. But for the kinder starts, like I said, it's just 4 times in a year, and it is maybe just for a few hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. Now Talking about daycare in Canada. Daycare in Canada, according to what I've heard, is very, very expensive. I have a friend that pays $1,000 for 2 children a month. That is even after government subsidy. Now, some provinces are beginning to make things easy for people. Newfoundland is one of those provinces. Alberta is one of those provinces. Now in Newfoundland, daycare is $10 per day. It's good to know that it's $10 per day, but getting the daycare is war. I have someone that is a nurse. She told me that the moment she realized she was pregnant, the moment she did the test and she discovered that she was pregnant, it was that moment that she went to apply for daycare for that child that is in her tummy, okay? And the child didn't get the daycare until the child was about 2.5, like almost 3 years old. I've called different daycares for Amida. Amida is 3 years old. I've called different daycares for her to just get an opportunity to put her in the daycare, but they'll tell me our queue is so huge. If you're going to wait, the waiting time should be minimum of 24 months. That is 2 years. So what am I supposed to do for 2 years? Like, how will I cope? How will I survive? So what most of us, and it is not just foreigners, like even the locals, what most people are doing is that they are resorting to like friends and family that will just give them small money to help you stay with your kids. That is what most people are relying on, because daycare is not easy to get, and that is not the case in Finland. In Finland, the moment you want to get to daycare, you want to put your child in daycare, you can just apply 3 months before that time, okay? And for me, I've had a situation whereby I even applied maybe 2 months or 1.5 months before the time I stated, and I was like, okay, even if they don't give me, I'll wait till the time they'll give me. But they gave it to me. They gave me the daycare. That law of 3 months waiting time is not very strict. They will even give you the condition that, okay, if you have a new job that is not the previous job that a new job comes with new conditions, things you're not prepared for and all that. In that case, you can apply for daycare 2 weeks ahead of the time you want to get that daycare. So these are the differences Finland and Canada has in terms of the daycare situation. But when it comes to higher education in Canada, so the moment your child gets to kindergarten, grade 1, high school, all of that part will be free. To be honest, it is free education until the time they will have to go to the university. The university education is not free in Canada. You have to pay for your children to go to the university. But there's another provision that the government has made for that purpose. So from this age, like from the time they are little, you can open an account for them. That account is called ERP or ERSP. I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to put it on the screen for you. I'm going to go back to check and put it on the screen. So that account is an account you can open for each child. You can open the account since the very moment the child is born. So the purpose of the account is that every month you put money in that account, and the government will also put money for you. So you put money, government will put money, you put money, government will put money. So, but this money is not something you can just decide, okay, I don't want to do it again, I will give my money back, I want to withdraw, I want to use the money. No, this money is solely towards the education of the child by the time they reach the university level. So I think it's not a bad idea, as long as you're putting the money there slowly every month, like you're not even feeling it so much. That is just the difference between Canada education and Finland education. So another thing that people ask me about will be the taxation in Canada compared to Finland. So I would say, it's hard to tell really, but I would say that both countries will charge you tax. So in both countries, like there's no how you not pay tax. So I don't know which tax is actually higher, because when I was in Finland, I was paying really huge tax. Like every month I will pay maybe 300 euro, 400 euro per month as tax. So it's really hard to tell, because both countries will tax you. Like they will tax you as much as they can. But of course, the good thing is that at the end of the year, when you're doing your tax filing, you can always get your money back. If you have been overtaxed, you always get your money back. There's no cheating when it comes to taxing. So another thing I want to talk about when it comes to taxing is that in Finland, you always get your tax card. That tax card will determine the percentage that will be taken from your salary every month. But in Canada, we don't have a tax card. before you get that tax cert in Finland, you will tell them, for this year, this is how much I plan to earn, how much work I plan to do, and they will use that prediction to determine the percentage of tax you'll be charged. But in Canada, no, you don't get to have a tax card. I remember when I started my job, they just gave me one form. In that form, there was like a salary range. So if you fall in this salary range, you pay this amount. Let's say your salary fall between 50,000 or 100,000 a year, 50,000 a year, and that will determine the tax you have to pay, something like that. But at the end of the day, when your employer give you that form, you fill it, you give it back to your employer, and your employer do whatever they have to do in the back end with it, but you don't get to get any tax card in return. If you have multiple jobs, all the employers you have will give you that form to fill, so you don't get to get a tax card compared to how it is in Finland. So in Finland, at the beginning of every year, you'll be given your tax return certificate or tax certificate that shows the amount of money you earned in the previous year and the amount of tax that was charged from you, and that tax certificate will show whether or not you're getting a return or whether or not you have to pay some money back to the tax office, whether you're owing the tax office or you have to pay back, something like that. But in Canada, you don't get to do that. You don't get any tax certificate. You will be the one to do your tax calculation yourself, because in Finland they do the tax calculation for you. But in Canada, nobody is going to do your tax calculation for you. You have to do it yourself. But if you want to get an accountant that will do your tax calculation for you, of course you have to pay the accountant. The accountant usually charge, let's say, some percentage from the amount of tax you're getting back. So, and some, if they have predicted that you're not going to get anything back, or maybe you have to pay the government back some money, they will tell you, this amount I want to get for my service for helping you to calculate. So I would say that at the end of the year in Canada, they will say from this date to this date is the time that you get to do your tax filing. So before this date, your employer will have given you a form. It's not a form actually, I think it's a certificate. Anyway, T4 sha. So your employer will have given you T4. T4 contains the amount of money you earned in that year and the amount of tax that was charged, and any extra income and everything will be in that form. Your information will be in that form or that certificate. So if you have multiple employers, like I said, so all of these employers will give you T4 each, and it's going to be different. So every T4 you get, it is tailored or designed by individual employer, so they don't get to communicate with each other. Like in Finland now, if you have 1 million jobs, everything will be under that one certificate, under that one tax certificate you have at the end of the year. The tax office gets to calculate everything from every angle your tax income or your taxes are coming from. They'll put everything in that tax certificate for you. But here it's not like that. Each employer will individually give you a T4 that contains the salary you've earned so far, the tax you've paid so far, and everything like that. So when you get your T4, it is now your duty to do the calculation. So what most people do, and what I do, is that I go to a particular app like that, and that app is very good. It has all the detail and everything you need to do to calculate your tax. You just have to answer the question. So it has something like, go to your T4 and check number 555. For example, like check number 555. In that number 555, the figure or the amount that is in that section 555, put it here. The figure that is in section 666, put it here. So just answer those questions in the app, and that app will automatically calculate for you how much tax you have to pay back or how much tax you'll be earning. And through that app, you can submit directly to CRA. CRA is the Canada Revenue. CRA is like the Canada Tax Office, something like that. So that app will help you to submit your tax return claim directly to the tax office. And the difference is that in Finland, even after you've gotten your tax certificate, they've already told you, okay, yeah, we are owing you, let's say, 1,000 euro for overpayments and all that. This 1,000 euro might not come until maybe the next 6, 7, 8 months. Like this year, Finland will be paying back in August. The time I moved to Finland, it used to be in December. they'll be paying you the tax return from the previous year in the December of the next year. But now I think it has changed to August, and there are different dates they have, but I think it's starting from August. It depends on whenever you have filed your correction, because after giving you the tax certificate, they will tell you, reach out to us if you have any correction, if you think something is wrong in this tax certificate we have issued to you. So if you don't have any correction, you'll get your money at a particular time, which will have been written on your tax certificate. But if there's any correction, that means you get that money an extended time. Okay, so in Canada, the moment you submit your tax filing to say, okay, I've done all the tax and everything, this is an amount that CRA is going to pay me back, you get your money within 2 weeks. Sometimes, depending on when you file your tax, it might be like maybe 1 month, but maximum is 1 month. So that is the difference between Canada and Finland in terms of tax. But one thing that shocked me, like that shocked me to my bone. Hey guys, this thing shocked me to my bone when I first came to Canada. When you go to the grocery store and you buy something and you're checking, oh, this thing is really nice and it's just $5. Oh, nice. Oh, I love it. So by the time you want to pay for this thing, the cashier will scan the product and the cashier will tell you 6.25, and you'll be like, no, it's $5. It has $5 written on it. And the cashier will tell you, yeah, that is plus tax, which means that you have to pay the tax for each product at the checkout point. So even if you are buying 20 products, 100 products, 1 million products, you're going to pay tax on each product at checkout. But in Finland, it's not like that. The taxes and everything will have been calculated to the price you're seeing on the shelf. So any price you do on the shelf is the price you will end up paying at the checkout. But in Canada, when you see something $5, just in your mind calculate 6 point something, because extra tax is going to be charged on it. But it was strange to me and it was difficult for me to adjust to that. But right now I think I'm kind of used to it. So already when I say the price, I know I'm still going to pay extra tax at checkout point. So one of the questions I got from my subscribers from the last video I posted about Canada and Finland was, what is living expenses compared to earning in Canada and Finland? It all boils down to how much you're earning every month and how you're able to cut your coat according to your size. Like if you know how to manage what you have, because Canada, Finland, we all earn and we all have to at some point pay for living expenses, pay for rent, pay for this and that. At the end of the day, it's about cutting your coat according to your size. Both countries will give you earning, and both countries you have to pay for living. Like whatever you're using, rent, car, whatever you pay for it. That question doesn't have a direct answer, honestly. So another question I also got was that which of these countries have cleaner environment, cleaner air, and cleaner water? I would say that Finland has cleaner water. Finland has cleaner environment. That does not mean Canada is dirty. It does not mean Canada has dirty water. No. And I would say it all depends on the environment you live in when it comes to the air, because in Helsinki is very populated, so Toronto is going to be as populated as Helsinki, you get. So it depends on what parts of the country you live in. So Newfoundland is not as crowded as Toronto, so it's only natural that the air we have in Newfoundland is cleaner. It's not as polluted as the one in Toronto, and the same thing applies to Finland too. So I hope that is good enough for an answer. So those are the questions I got from the last video of the differences between Canada and Finland. I hope this video is helpful enough. If you have more questions, let me know. I'll do a Q&A for you guys. It's really nice to be with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please do well to click on the subscribe button. If you're not part of the family, don't be a stranger on this channel. You know, I will do it. Click on the subscribe button. click on the like button, the share button. If you notice, you'll see a notification bell icon just beside the subscribe button. When you click that, you're going to be notified whenever I post a new video on this channel. Thank you so much again. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video, inshallah. Bye.